Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live, bringing you our weekly roundup of chamber music live stream action. There's more going on this week than I'm going to have time to get to in this presentation. There's so much going on all over the waterfront, so to speak. We've got piano recitals. We've got a piano marathon, a 16-hour piano recital. We have early music on the harpsichord with the top harpsichordist. We've got vocal recitals. We got chamber ensembles, chamber duos. We're from London from the East and West Coast in the U.S. There's more in Moscow that I'm not even going to have time to get to in detail. What can I say? Here's what I can say. If you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching it on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live. We're on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. And we will continue to make sure that you get more than 1,000 live streams of quality performing arts every year. We did it in our first year. We're going to do even more in the second year because there's even more live streaming going on. Having said that, let me start getting right to this week's offerings. Where's the first of this week's offerings? Oh, that's very interesting. Actually, I think there are two that we want to put up for you. So I'll put both of them up at the same time. See how that works. Does that actually function? No, it doesn't. So I'll have to replace it one at a time. Christian Tetzlaff. And Leif over Andsnes. Let's put. I lost one of them. Got to get the pianist back for you. I don't know, like he wasn't smiling. So, but anyway, let us talk about these two artists. This is actually a reprise of a concert that we talked about on Saturday. And I'll tell you about that in just a moment. First, I'd like to announce this formally. Wednesday, September 17th, Wigmore Hall live streams pianist Leif over Andsnes and violinist Christian Tetzlaff playing sonatas by Mozart, Ravel, Brahms, and a specially commissioned sonata by Dong-Hun Shin. That'll be at 9 in the evening, European time. It'll be at 8 o'clock in UK time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast, noon, lunchtime on the West Coast. The concert they're playing, they played the same concert last Saturday at the Andsnes Festival in the afternoon. But I believe, and we published it, and then I believe at the last minute, it was not viewable outside of Romania. And I think it's because they wanted to reserve their thunder for today. Because well, let me tell you what they're going to be playing. They're playing Mozart's Violin Sonata in A major, Kerschel number 526. They're playing Ravel's Violin Sonata number 2 in G major. They're playing Brahms' Violin Sonata number 3 in D minor, opus 108. And then this, what's called the Winter Sonata by Dong-Hun Shin. And this is the UK premiere. Now, this was commissioned by Spanningen, Musik im RWA Kraftwerk Heimbachs, with support specifically, financial support specifically from Wigmore Hall. So I think they really wanted to do the first exposure to the world public in a Wigmore Hall live stream. Andsnes and Tetzlaff, they're both top artist. I think what's interesting about them is they both do a lot of artist in residences. So Andsnes was 2017-18, he was artist in residence at the New York Phil. 2019-20 at the Göteborg or Gothenburg Symphony, which he's been playing with for like the last 30 years since he was a kid. And he was awarded an honorary doctorate at Juilliard already a decade ago and at the University of Bergen in 2017. He's got over 30 recordings out, including there's a recording he did a Grieg piano concerto with the Berlin Phil in 2003 that a lot of people say is the best that's ever been done. Tetzlaff, too. He's been an artist in residence with the Berlin Phil, with the Seoul Philharmonic, with the Dresdner Phil. And he's been in 2021, 22 at Wigmore Hall. He was a focused artist at the Rheingau Music Festival and artist in residence at the Kammerakademie Potsdam just last year. Now, this composer, Dong Hoon Shin, to tell you a little bit about him, he first studied, he's South Korean, he's about 40 years old, early 40s, studied composition at Seoul National University and then at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, started winning a slew of international awards in 2010 and thereafter. And he's done commissions for the Berlin Phil, the London Symphony Orchestra, the LA Phil, Helsinki, Minnesota, Seoul Philharmonic Orchestra. A composer you want to discover, played by two highly acclaimed artists. I don't see how it gets better than this, and it's free of charge, although they do ask you to make donations if you can afford it, to keep it going. So we move on from that on Wednesday to something completely different. Hope I have the photo here, Ian. Yes, I do. This photo was easily found. Wednesday, September 17th, the Old Church Concert Hall in Portland, Oregon, live streams its weekly lunchtime concert with soprano Amanda Taddeo, singing Fauré, Wolf, Barber, Puccini, Jerome Kern, Cole Porter, everybody. That's at 3 o'clock. That's at noon. Well, yeah, it's their lunchtime concert on the West Coast, 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock in the evening here in Europe. She'll be singing, well, these are art songs, opera arias, musical theater. Give you some idea of what she's starting out with. She'll start out with Nuit d'Étoiles by Claude Debussy. You know, that's the one that goes, Nuit d'étoiles, sous tes voiles, etc. Then a bunch of pieces by Fauré, including Clair de Lune and Après un rêve. And then she'll take a break and come back and sing a bunch of cowboy songs by Libby Larsen, mixing it up. Then she'll come back singing art songs by Hugo Wolf and Richard Strauss, and then take another little break. And then she will sing, get more operatic, I guess. She'll sing a Puccini aria from Manon Lescaut. She'll sing a Kurt Weill song from Street Scene, What Good Would the Moon Be? And she'll finish off with All the Things You Are by Jerome Kern. She's a lyric soprano originally from Philadelphia, studied vocal performance and opera at Temple University, and she sings with regional productions in the Portland, Oregon, and West Coast area. The next concert that we have for you, chamber music concert, is on will be on Thursday. And I think it's this guy. Thursday, September 18th, St. Marys Perivale's weekly live stream features Shanghai-born American violinist and composer Luke Hsu playing Paganini's 24 Caprices, all 24 of them. That's at their usual time of 3 in the afternoon European time, 9 in the morning on the East Coast, and 6 in the morning on the West Coast for all you Hollywood people that get up at ungodly early hours to make movies. Luke Hsu is born in Shanghai, raised in Houston, and living in Berlin. So an international guy. He's an associate, an associate at the Royal Academy of Music. He's a composer as well as a violinist. He has played at Wigmore Hall, the Elbe Philharmonie in Hamburg, soloist, Windsor Castle, the Kennedy Center, the Berlin Phil, etc. And he's now put together a group called the Tonhain Collective. It's a chamber music society based in Berlin. Multiple international prize winners, violinist. The usual quality St. Marys Perivale live stream. And then a little later in the day, for early music enthusiast, here's a great guy. Early music lovers, hurrah! Midtown Concerts is back in business with its usual Thursday live stream featuring this time the internationally esteemed harpsichordist Philippe Leroy playing Johann Froberger, Johann Sebastian Bach, and Wilhelm Friedemann Bach. That's at their usual time, 1:15 in the afternoon, Eastern Daylight Time on Thursday, 10:15 in the morning on the West Coast, and 7:15 in the evening here in Europe. Put together by the Gotham Early Music Society. He's a French keyboardist, as you could perhaps tell by the way I pronounced his name, who plays throughout Europe. He works a lot, plays a lot fairly often with another early music musician, Yuri Vinokour. And Vinokour is playing a concert at Midtown Concerts next week. So maybe they're both in New York working on something. He's also an organist with a specialty in the Baroque repertoire, favoring French, Spanish, and Italian music of the 16th through the 18th centuries. He's got a number of interesting recordings out, recording of the complete works of Couperin on the Sirius label, which was was 20 years ago, named Best Instrumental Recording of the Year by the online magazine newold.com. He's got recordings of Bach's Concerti for 2 and 4 harpsichords and virtuoso sonatas by Sebastian de Albero and Padre Antonio Soler. So yeah, he does like French, Spanish, and Italian music. Sounds like a good one. Another quality early music live stream from our friends at Midtown Concerts. Oh, I'm so glad I have this photo. The last minute I was afraid I might not have it because this guy is incredible. Okay. Saturday, September 20th, Russian-born pianist Roman Borisov plays a 16-hour piano marathon of Erik Satie's Vexations in a fundraiser for World Children's Day, with audience members allowed to join in during brief pauses during the performance. Live streamed by DW Classical Music on YouTube. Well, that'll be incredible. It's at 8:30. It starts at 8:30 in the morning. It's 16 hours. So it's going to go till midnight. 8:30 in the morning European time, which will be like 2:30 in the morning late Friday night on the East Coast, and 11:30 on the West Coast. So these are really fiendishly early times. Let me double check and make sure I've got those times right. Yeah, so it's it'll be an incredible live stream. I'll tell you that. It's not something you see every day. It's a fundraiser, and we will give you the link in case you want to contribute to the fundraiser for World Children's Day. It's a contribution to save the children. Borisov is originally from Novosibirsk, Russia. He's about 24, 25 years old. He was discovered when he was a 4-year-old kid in kindergarten and introduced to a legendary piano teacher at the Novosibirsk Conservatory. And she mentored Mary Lebenzon. She mentored him until 2020. Since 2022, he's been based in Berlin, where he's studying at the Hochschule für Musik Hans Eisler. He's got his first solo album out this past year, featuring works by Frank Godowsky and Rachmaninoff. Powerful stuff. He's already performed with the Deutsche Symphony Orchestra, the Helsinki Phil, the Berlin Concerthaus Orchester, the Munich Symphony Orchestra, and others. And he'll this coming year he'll have a debut concert performance with the Stuttgart SWR Symphony Orchestra, with its new French conductor, who has been quoted as really looking forward to hearing what he's going to do or how well he does. And then he's doing solo recitals at the Berlin Phil, the Cologne Phil, Munich's Prinzregen Theater, the Elbe Philharmonie in Hamburg, the Tonhalle in Zurich. He's going to the Auditorium in Lyon, etc. The guy is tearing up the pea patch, as they would say in Tennessee. But, this is a major challenge, playing Erik Satie's Vexations. So, and another occasion for it is this is the 100th anniversary of the death of Erik Satie, the French composer. We have, I think, 1 or 2 more live streams to tell you about. The next one, I think, is on Sunday, taking us back to Wigmore Hall for a second. Yeah. Here it is. Sunday, September 21st, Wigmore Hall live streams the acclaimed international violinist Midori, playing Beethoven's Spring Sonata, Clara Schumann's 3 Romances, Ravel's Sonata in G, and more, accompanied by the very able Özgür Aydin, or Aydin, depending on whether you want to anglicize it. That'll be at 9 o'clock in the evening, European time, 8 o'clock in the UK, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the Sunday afternoon, and on the East Coast in the US, noon, lunchtime, brunch time on the West Coast in LA and elsewhere. Midori is really the motor of this concert. She's the one who chose these pieces. The entire program starts out Clara Schumann's 3 Romances, Opus 22, then Brahms's Violin Sonata No. 1 in G, Opus 78, then Beethoven's Violin Sonata No. 5 in F, Opus 24, that's the Spring Sonata, and finishing up with Marys Perivale's Violin Sonata No. 2 in G. That will be an excellent, high-quality concert at Wigmore Hall, known as one of the top chamber music halls in the world, considered the top chamber music hall in the world by British people, but by all of us, it's right up there. If you're playing there, you're playing at the best with the best. So it's sure to be lovely. It's free of charge, although they do ask you to make a donation if you can afford it to keep it going. But that's not all that we have for you on Sunday. There's yet another concert coming up after that in Baltimore. And then there's another one out of San Francisco on the weekend. So it's just blossoming all over the place. The musicians you see there are members of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, there's a separate page called Musicians of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, which lists these different musicians from the orchestra who get involved in doing concerts out in the community. And this is an example of it. Sunday, September 21st, expert musicians of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra will grace the live stream of community concerts at Second, playing Amy Beach, Chen Yu Huang, Brian Prechtel, and Johannes Brahms. That'll be 3:30 in the afternoon, Eastern Daylight Time, 12:30 on the West Coast, brunch time, and at 9:30 in the evening, Central European Time. The piece by Amy Beach is a sonata for violin and piano in A minor, Opus 34. That'll be played by Laura Johnson on the piano and Ivan Stefanovic on the violin. Then they will do a piece, Taiwanese folk songs by Chen Yu Huang. And this will be played by a trio that call themselves Trio Sirène. And sirène is the French way of saying sirens. Siren Trio. That's Marcia McHugh on the flute, Karen Brown on the viola, and Jacqueline Polauf on the harp, narrated by Maria Broom. And then that same trio will do the world premiere of a piece by Brian Prechtel called The Seven Chakras. Interesting to see what that would be like. And then finally, they will do Brahms's Piano Trio number 2, Opus 87 in C major. That will be played by Boram Kang on the violin, Dariusz Skorzewski on the cello, and I'm proud of how well I pronounced that. I hope it was all right. And Michael Shepard on the piano. These are great concerts that they're put on in a local church. And it's a way of bringing chamber music. Well, it gives the musicians from the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra a chance to practice their chops as chamber musicians. And it also brings additional chamber offerings out into the community in Baltimore. So bravo for that. And if it sounds to me like this is a very varied program, which can be appealing to those who are broad-minded about the kind of music they like. Now, we have 2 more concerts that I need to tell you about. They're on Saturday and Sunday. And I can show you the photo of the people that's coming out of San Francisco. Here it is. It's the group called the Sixth Station Trio, which I'll tell you a little bit about. Saturday and Sunday, September 20th and 21st, Old First Concerts in San Francisco live streams this group called the Sixth Station Trio, playing a concert called Genshin Impact in Concert. That'll be at on Saturday. It's at 8 p.m. In the evening on the West Coast, 11 o'clock on the East Coast at night, 5 o'clock in the morning in Europe, and a lovely 1 o'clock in the afternoon down under in Australia, Sunday afternoon. And then on Sunday, the 21st of September, they play again at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in San Francisco, 7 o'clock in the evening on the East Coast, 1 o'clock in the morning here in Europe, and 9 o'clock Monday morning down under in Australia. Six Station Trio, they're a piano, violin, and cello trio based in the San Francisco Bay Area. And they play all kinds of music. They had their debut at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco a couple of years ago. It was sold out, playing music from the films of Studio Ghibli. So they play everything from classical music to film music and pop music. I'm not exactly sure what music they are playing for this concert. We are not told. Tell you a little bit about the 3 of them. Caitlin Tan is got her bachelor's at the University of the Pacific in 2017, master's at the San Francisco Conservatory in 2020, and she works as a rehearsal pianist now for the San Francisco Ballet Company, but also for other companies like San Francisco Opera, the Berkeley Ballet Theater, the American Conservatory Theater, etc. So she's the pianist. You can see she's rather young. She's early on in her career. Then the violinist Anju Goto, he got his BA, he got his bachelor's at the San Francisco Conservatory in 2020. Also studied viola at the Thornton School of Music down at USC. And he was a member of the San Francisco Youth Orchestra through the teens, like 2015 to 2020. And then finally, the cellist is Federico Strand Ramirez. He's a native San Franciscan. He got his bachelor's at the San Francisco Conservatory, got his master's at the Mannes School of Music in New York City. So these are young, up and coming, dedicated musicians who are interested in making classical music accessible to the general public, which is probably why they play a variety of different kinds of music. Folks, that's what we have for you in terms of chamber music that I'm sure about going on this week. But there's one more thing that I want to tell you about. There are also some live streams coming out of the Moscow Philharmonic Friday and Saturday. And I'm not certain yet whether they are live streams or recordings, because there are several of them being broadcast at the same time. I will tell you just briefly about them. I don't know if we'll be able to include the descriptions and the links with all the other links that I've just, for the concerts I've just been telling you about, because there are limits on how much we can print. But Friday, September 19th at 8 o'clock European time, noon on the East Coast, the Chamber Orchestra of Russia plays a concert about of the art of wind instruments. It's music by Van Eyck, Mozart, Hindemith, and Dancy. And I will do a separate live stream telling you about these concerts in more detail later in the week, because they're on the weekend. Then Friday, also on Friday at the same time, 6 o'clock in the evening European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast, the folk dance ensemble Beryozka is being live streamed on the Moscow Philharmonic website. And then on Saturday at the same time, again, 6 o'clock European time, noon on the East Coast, etc., the Osipov Orchestra String Quartet is playing a concert including Hasse's Symphony for Strings in G minor. These are all domra and mandolin players playing this music. Hasse's Symphony for Strings in G minor and its concerto for mandolin and strings in G major, and pieces by Rossini, Corelli, Shishakov, Knipper, Tsinsadze, and Nizamov's Toccata for 4 domras. Those are coming up also this week. If I have room to include the links to them, I will include them with all the other links for the things I told you about. And if I can't, well, we'll put them out with a separate live stream. Folks, there's a lot going on this week. That's like 11 live streams that I think I told you about. So let me conclude by saying I hope that any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, and just shows you a heck of a good time. And before I leave, let me remind you again, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. And if you're watching this on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and or LinkedIn. And we'll continue to keep our promise to provide you with more than 1,000 live links to live streams of quality performing arts in the coming year. We did so last year. We're going to do so again this year. Nobody else online can make that claim. If you want to know about all of these live streams coming in from all these different sources, most of which are free of charge, this is the place where you can get it and be a part of the global audience. What does that mean? It means that when you attend these, even remotely. You're part of the audience with the in-person audience. You're part of a social event with living, breathing artists, and you're all enjoying these moments of truth and beauty together. There's power in that. And the more we can encourage more people to do so, I think the better it is for all of humankind. So with that, I will say ciao for now. That's it for this week. I may be back. As I said, I may do a separate piece on those Moscow Phil chamber music live streams. And I may be back on Friday at the usual time, about 6 in the evening European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast, to give you, point out some highlights for the weekend of different kinds, because there's organ recitals, there's orchestral, big stage productions, and there's this chamber music. It's busting out all over the place, and I'm so happy that it is. So with that, I'll say ciao for now. Have a great week and enjoy all this.